Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to day number 1. Well, I see some familiar faces here, so it's not exactly day number 1. But welcome to class number 1 for Comparative Cultures. I, of course, am your instructor. My name is Mike Metcalf. You can call me Mr. Metcalf, which is kind of weird. You can call me Mike or you can call me Mr. Mike. I think most people go with Mr. Mike, but it's up to you. Thanks for being here. What we'll do today is just kind of a very light day. I'll tell you a little bit about what the course is like and we'll talk about that. And then I'll kind of send you on your way because again, it's the first day. We don't want to strain ourselves, right? It's like going to the gym. You don't want to go in the first day and work really hard because the next day you won't be able to move. So we just want to gently ease ourselves in, right? Or at least I do. Let's see. So just in case you're unfamiliar with what's happening here, because I'm on the screen, and so because we have, well, I think we have students who are, of course, here, but also online because they're in their home country or they're quarantining. I am streaming this to YouTube as we speak. And so everything you see on the screen is being streamed to YouTube for people at home to watch and participate. Just so you know, people can hear me, but they won't be able to hear you. So if you ask a question or if you answer a question, I will sort of communicate that to the online audience, but nobody can really hear you. So you can relax. You don't have to worry about being broadcast to, the entire internet. People can't hear you. And again, nobody's really watching this channel anyway, so don't worry about it. Yeah, so that's what's happening. Let's put this up on, or actually, and maybe I'll mention it as well. So for people who are online, maybe if you could just say hi. Whoops. Yeah, if you could just say hi in the live chat. Then I can see that you're here, and I can also put your questions or responses on the screen. And so you can kind of participate that way if something's confusing or if I ask you a question and I'd like you to answer it, you can put it into the live chat and I can put it on the screen just like that. I don't have to, but I can. So yeah, if you're online, is anyone online? There's 2 people watching, so maybe if you could say hi, that'd be great. There's Gregorius, if that's your name. Hello. And maybe there's someone else, or maybe not. I know Basil was there before, but Basil's not in this class. So, okay, that's how that works. So, Comparative Cultures 12, what this class is. So, this class is a bit of a mix of a lot of things, okay? Move that there. It's a bit of a mix of a lot of different things. And so it started out more as more of an ancient history course, but as the course has kind of changed and the curriculum has changed and I've tried to work with it, it's a little bit of classics, it's a little bit of ancient history, it's a little bit of anthropology. It's kind of all of these things rolled into one. And what I'd like to do is, in this class, I'd like to sort of give you an idea of what human culture is and how it works. But I'd also like to give you a bit of an idea of the development of human civilization. And so humans, of course, are pretty interesting because if you look outside the window here, you will see that we've really radically modified our environment, right? We've created cities and roads and all kinds of interesting technology, things that no other species has done, right? But if you go back, to our origins, even if you go back, let's say 50,000 years, you'll see all humans living a very different type of existence. And so in a very, very short period, humans have gone to, living a very simple existence to, living in modern societies with all kinds of technologies and smartphones and genetic engineering and all kinds of things. And so I'd like to, this mask doesn't work very well, sorry. What I'd like to do is give you an understanding of what human culture is. That's kind of the anthropology thing. But I'd also like to give you a bit of an idea of how humans get from one place to another, right? How do complex societies appear, and what are they kind of like? And so in the process, good morning. In the process, we'll get to see what some other cultures are like. We'll look at some ancient history, and maybe we can take those ideas and connect them to the cultures that we live in right now, because of course we all come from a culture and we are all operating within a culture here in Canada, right? So maybe we can use that to understand what's going on for us, okay? So again, it's a bit of a mix of things, but it's an interesting, I think it's an interesting mix nonetheless. So in terms of textbooks, I have a textbook for you. It's called World History to 1500. It is a PDF, and I will put it into Student Portal, and I'll put it into Microsoft Teams so that you'll have it, so you don't have a heavy book to carry around. It can be with you wherever you go, and you can read it on the bus or on the train or in a park or on the couch, or I'm sure you'll just want to read it and keep reading it. No, it's fine. It's actually, it's not a bad read. But I'll have that for you posted there. And I'll give you some other things from time to time too, articles. I'll show you some videos and documentaries. But again, I'll provide all those to you, okay? I'm going to take a pause here. What do you think? So far, so good? Any questions? Okay. What's that? Yeah, that's what's happening. Okay. Yes. So in this class, we have some student learning outcomes, and I won't go through all of these. There's actually 7 of them. You'll see them in the syllabus for the course, which is posted on Student Portal right now. But basically what we're trying to do is, I guess, critically understand information, right? Understand how human societies work, understand how historical patterns unfold, how to compare those things between cultures, right? How can we understand the development of one culture and one civilization versus the development of another one, and also how to create arguments, to assess other people's arguments. That's kind of what these student learning outcomes speak to, okay? And so we'll find different ways to kind of deal with each of these as we go through, okay? But more or less they are thinking outcomes, okay? Critical thinking outcomes, and so we'll work on those as the course continues, okay? There's also some core competencies, and again, this is more for me to worry about than you, but we'll be trying to pay attention to our communication, right? So how we communicate with others, either when we speak or when we write. We'll be paying attention to our thinking, and so again, critical thinking is an important part of that. And we'll be paying attention to kind of our personal and social connections. And so I'm hoping that as we go through this course, we'll be able to get some perspective on ourselves and also on the societies in which we live, okay? So hopefully there will be, not hopefully, there should be ways in which we can take things from the past and take things from other societies and connect them to our own, okay? How I will evaluate you. So here you'll see I've got assignments being worth 30. Again, you know, at the beginning of term, I always have it in my head that, oh, I'm going to give you lots of assignments. There'll be lots of, oops, sorry, that's shouldn't be on. There'll be lots of assignments, you know, and there'll be lots of chances to earn marks. But often what I find is that, you know, the course is so short, over 13 weeks, that when you take into account time to learn things, and then we have quizzes and we have a final assignment at the end, and by the time you work that in, there's not that many opportunities for assignments. And so there probably won't be that many of them, and so it's a good idea to get them done and to do your best on them, because as you can see, they're a big chunk of the mark. I'll try to give you as many as I can so that it's, you know, it properly measures what you can do. But again, I think I delude myself into thinking, oh, I'm going to give you lots and lots, but as the term continues, I often find that there's not that many. So I'm just warning you ahead of time, and maybe warning me ahead of time as well. I've got attendance for 10%. So attendance is critically important for a class like this, because again, we're doing it in a very compressed time frame, right? High school students in BC, usually they have about 5 months to do a course like this. And we have basically 3, less than that really. And so, you know, if you miss 2 classes, that's actually a big chunk of the course that you've missed. It doesn't seem like a lot, but things just go so fast that it winds up being a lot. And so you need to be here every day without fail. The only exception, of course, is that if you are sick, of course, it's a pandemic, right? Don't come in if you're sick. Send an email to me or a message to me. Let Deborah and Maria know, and we'll kind of deal with that. But otherwise, you gotta be here, right? So the other part of that mark is participation, right? So if you're here, that's great. But if you just kind of, you know, sit there like a lump, you're not really contributing to the class, right? And the classes get interesting when people talk, right? Classes get interesting when people ask questions, right? And say what they think. Then it's really interesting. If people don't talk, it's just me, right? It's just me talking, and I'm not that interesting. Right? You guys are far more interesting than me. So I would like you to talk in addition. Let me see, we'll have 5 quizzes. They'll be quite short. There'll be maybe 4 or 5 questions, but we'll deal with them when we get to them. And then there'll be a final assignment. And so last term we did presentations, which I think were okay. I kind of enjoyed watching people, you know, come up and present to the class. I kind of enjoyed that process, and so maybe we'll do that again. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to think about it. I'm open to suggestions if you have them, but there'll be something toward the end of term that is the final thing. And that final thing, of course, will take the place of a final exam. So I'm not doing a final exam in this class. Your final exam will be whatever that assignment is, okay? So I'm not sure if that's good news or bad news for you. Nobody really likes final exams, so maybe it's good news, but either way, that's probably what we'll do, but I'll think about it. Any questions about that so far? All good? All good, all good? Okay. Yeah, so if you are not here and we have an assignment due or an exam, if you don't have a proper, valid, documented excuse, then I'm going to give you a 0 for it. Okay, so you've got to be here again, basically unless you are ill, right? And again, if you're ill, you message me, you message Deborah and Maria, and we'll kind of handle it from there. Okay. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I think that most of our students here in high school have a pretty good grasp of the fact that no, you shouldn't, you shouldn't cheat on quizzes and exams, and you shouldn't plagiarize. Although I think some students have a very kind of fuzzy idea of what plagiarism is in the first place, and so I'll try to help you out with that and maybe give you some pointers so that you are less likely to plagiarize by accident. But again, submit your own work, right? I want to hear what you have to say. I want to see what you can do. I want to hear your words. I don't want to hear someone else's, right? So do your own work is the easiest way to deal with that. Again, I don't want to, I think most people kind of understand that, but I'll put it in there. In the syllabus, which again is on Student Portal, there's a classroom code of conduct. I won't go into too much detail on that because I'm sure you're all perfectly socialized, well-behaved human beings. You can eat and drink in here, I believe. Please don't make a mess, and if you do make a mess, please clean it up. Also, please be careful because as you can see, you're sitting on top of a computer, so if you dump your iced coffee all over it, it might be a bit of an issue, so please do your best, not to knock over your drink or to have a cover on your drink. And again, if you make a mess, you clean it up. Your mother doesn't work here, as they say. And I'm not cleaning it up. So, and Ellie doesn't want to clean it up either. Ellie is our, head custodian person, and we don't want to make a mess for poor Ellie, so. But yeah, if you want to eat and drink in here, it's fine. Just clean up after yourself, and nothing really smelly, please. If you microwave fish for lunch, you're not going to make any friends in here. So, just teasing. Email. So make sure you check your college email because the college will communicate things to you, and sometimes I will as well. Although, for the most part, I'll probably use Microsoft Teams to do it. It seems that Teams is a little easier to kind of message people back and forth, and it seemed to be preferred by students over the last couple terms. But check those things. Check those things daily if you can, just in case anything comes up. Okay. From time to time, we'll have a drill. Fire drill, earthquake drill. I'll tell you about those when we get to them. They're no big deal, of course. And yeah, and that concludes that. Any questions? Anything anyone would like to say at the moment? Anything that I said that was confusing or not clear, or that I didn't say enough about that I should say more about? Okay. All right. So here is what I would like you to do. I've got 5 questions on the screen here. And maybe what I'd like you to do is talk to some people around you and just pick a question to answer. Whichever question kind of speaks to you or that you think you would like to talk about, you can talk to people about one of those, okay? So maybe I'll make a group of 3 here just because you guys are close together, and a group of 3 there, and a group of 3 along the wall because that's just seems convenient. And I'll give you 4 minutes to, well, actually there's groups of 3, so maybe I'll make it 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes just to talk and answer whichever question you want, right? Tell people what you think is the biggest problem facing the world today, or what thing makes you the happiest, or who do you respect most and why do you respect them, or whatever, or the story of your name, right? Where does your name come from? Why did your parents choose to give you that particular name, okay? So 5 minutes, talk to each other. You all don't have to answer the same question, right? So if Shota wants to answer number 2 and Mike wants to answer number 3, that's okay, right? But share whatever one you want to share with each other. Coolio? Okay. 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, people. Okay, people. I'm glad to see you're still talking, but I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear what you were talking about. So, who was talking about question number one? Anybody? No. There's too many problems facing the world. It's what? Oh, okay. No. Do you want to do you want to try and just suggest some things that biggest problem? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of focus on the environment, at least here in Canada, the last little while, because we've had fires and heat, and other places have been experiencing floods and hurricanes, and it's been a crazy year for weather, right? It seems like every year is more extreme than the last, right? What else? Other problems? What? Racism, yeah. There's been a lot in the news recently about racism, right? Certainly in the United States, but also here in Canada and in other countries as well. That's a big concern. What else? What's that? Economy? What? Oh, the pandemic. Oh yeah, we had. Gee, I almost forgot about it for 10 seconds. Yeah, we're having a pandemic, right? So that's yeah. Well, that's the thing that's looking us all in the face, right? Is masks everywhere. What do you think? Do you think we'll? How long do you think before? Do you think it'll ever go back to normal? Long time. It feels like a long time, doesn't it? Yeah. How long does it feel? He's still writing 2020. Yeah. I remember. I remember when we originally kind of closed the school and we went online. It was March of 2020, and I remember that day because because the Friday before I was teaching my classes, and I said to all my students, I said, okay, make sure you bring your textbooks home with you this weekend because we might not be open on Monday. And I thought to myself, they're all going to be annoyed at me because we're going to be open on Monday. They're going to have to bring all their stuff back, and they're going to be like, Mike, why did you tell us to bring all our stuff home? But that was, a year and a half ago, and as you can see, we're still not fully open anymore. Like, even then, and when I think back to that afternoon when I told those students to bring their stuff home, that was a year and a half ago, but it seems like 3 or 4 years ago. Like it seems like a long time ago. Yeah, time has been really weird, hey? Really weird. Um, did anyone talk about number two? Who do you respect most and why? There is a correct answer to this. The answer is me. And the why is because I'm so great. No. Who do you respect? Who do you respect most and why? Shh, 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 shh. Yeah. Yeah. What's one thing that stands out that was taught to you? Hmm. That's a good one. Thanks, Yo-Yo. Who else? Who do you respect most and why? Who? Steve Jobs? Okay, why? Because you like Apple products, and he's the mastermind, or one of the masterminds behind. Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Although I don't know that I'd want to work for him. He seems to have been pretty difficult to work for. Smart guy though. Who else? Do we who? Elon Musk. Why? He's just smart. Wow, there's a lot of respect for smart people in this room. What's that? Who do I respect? Who would I respect? Okay. I respect people who look out for others. I respect people who do their best without sort of destroying themselves in the process. I respect people who care for and love other people. I respect people who try to do their best. I respect my parents, of course, because they raised me and did a okay job. I'm not a criminal, so they did their job. Yeah, I mean, there are people that I respect that I could tell you, but you don't know them, so it won't make a difference. But those are the kind of things that I look for, I think. Yeah. Anyone else who they respect? What about this one? This. Do you think this is the toughest question? Up there, number 3. It's pretty easy. Okay. What makes you happiest? What? Happy what? To pass this class? Oh, okay. Well, I think you'll probably be fine. You'll be. I look forward to seeing you happy in like 13 weeks. What else makes you happiest? What's that? A long break. Was the break long enough? Yeah. It felt a little short. I think the summer one always does. Summer one always feels too short. What else makes you happy? What? I can't hear you. Oh, to work out? Yeah, that gets the endorphins flowing. That feels good. Yeah. Food, yeah. Favorite foods, anybody? Everything? You'll just eat anything that's in front of you? Yeah? Oh, okay. So you're starving basically right now. So anything. All right. Favorite foods? Yeah. I had some sushi last night that was really good. Sushi's good. Yeah. Let's see. What's tough about being the age that you are right now? Waking up early? Yeah, it's a long day, right? And it's tough to get up early, right? Yeah, for sure, for sure. What else? Yeah, you're kind of right in the middle where you're not quite one thing and not quite another, right? In anthropology, they call that you're in a liminal state, is what they call it. You're who is it? Anthropologist Van Gennep, I think, would say that you are betwixt and between. You're in between two things. You're not fully one thing and you're not fully the other. You're just in this weird halfway state, right? Which is, yeah, awkward and difficult, right? There's freedoms you want that you don't get, and obligations that you still have that you might not want, and yeah, it's tough, right? What else? Other things that are difficult about this point in your life? What's that? Hormones? Yeah, adults have them too, but what's that? Now they're going crazy. Like in what way?
Everything. The hormone is changing the mood, changing the skin.
Yeah, your bodies and your minds are very much in a growth state, right? So there's lots of things happening up here and in your body, and yeah, there's a lot going on, right? Mood swings, although some adults have those too, but yeah, that's a tough thing, right? What else? Anything else difficult about being the age you are right now? Does anyone feel like pressure about the future? Like, what are you going to be, or what are you going to do? Yeah. It's kind of, I imagine there's a lot of that at this point, right? Yeah. That's a tough one. I think at this point you're being asked to, figure out the rest of your life, kind of thing, right? And it's not fair. Nobody has the rest of their life figured out. But that's almost what's being asked of you, right? Anyone want to share this one, the story of their name? This is a bit of a personal one, so you don't really have to, but Any, anyone have a good name story? What? What's that?
They throw darts, and where the darts hit, there is my name.
They threw darts?
Yeah.
Really?
They got a dart with name, and they just throw it. They're only
So they had like a list of names they liked, but they
Yeah.
just couldn't choose?
Yeah.
Oh.
They didn't want to choose, so they had to choose as they are very names.
Yeah.
And they're interested, so they just throw it. Like that.
That's funny. And did they shoot right?
I
You guess so?
guess
Yeah. You kind of get used to the name after a while, right? But okay, I hadn't heard that one before, but that's good. Any other name stories? I won't tell mine, but my sister's name, her first name is Elizabeth and her middle name is Alexandra. And so when she was born, my mom was having a really tough time naming her. And so they were in the hospital, you're holding the baby, you're trying to figure out what to name this kid, and she couldn't quite come up with anything. And so eventually she decided on the name I just told you. And maybe in part because Elizabeth is my mom's middle name, so maybe that. But the funnier part of this story is that she was, they give you the form and you have to write the kid's name so that the hospital can keep their records. And so she's writing, Elizabeth Alexandra, that's the name of this child. And then she looks at the top of the form, and the hospital that my sister was born in was the Royal Alexandra Hospital, and it's in Edmonton on Princess Elizabeth Avenue. And so my mom looked at it and she was like, "Oh my God." just I've just named my kid after like the hospital, and I don't know if she meant to or not, but it looked really bad at the moment. It looked like she just, pulled it from the address. Anyway, it worked out, but it was kind of, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, did I just plagiarize my child's name by accident? Any other name stories?
My first name, it's so bad that when I went to renew my passport, the lady there looked at the clock for 5 minutes late and then gave me the passport for 3 minutes and we can't really do that. This is ridiculous.
Well, I was going to say that at first that's just not nice, right?
At least she gave me a free passport.
So how did that? How did you? Why were you given that name?
Because my grandma had it.
Hmm.
In Italy, like every son has to give their first child the mother's and father's, like mother's or father's name. It's like a tradition.
Right.
So like I had to have this name, and she accepted.
Okay, so you were given the name of your grandmother, and if you were a boy, you would have been given the name of your grandfather.
Yeah, like we didn't really.
Okay, you have been given both.
Yeah, my grandma's name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this around. And then my grandfather's name is Antonio.
Oh, I see. So you get both, and they just kind of change it depending on the gender of the child.
Usually they just get the grandma, like for birth, like just the grandma's name.
Okay.
For my parents' name.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't have a lot to. I don't have a lot to choose from there either. I would have wound up with like Walter or Eugene, so lucked out probably. Interesting. Any other name stories that you would care to share? No. All right. Well, speaking of names, I'm just gonna do attendance here because I have to, and also it will help me learn people's names who I don't know. Is there a Felicia here? You are Felicia? Hello. Nice to meet you. Is Felicia what you'd like me to call you?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes people have names in here that are not the ones they want to be called by, so I'm just checking. Okay. So Felicia, nice to meet you. Mahmoud, I know who you are. You're right there. Thanks for being here. Good morning.
Hi there, sorry to disturb you guys. Another student wants to shadow your class.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This class, right?
Yes, comparative
Okay.
cultures.
Gotcha. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I have Gregorius here. He's online, so that's good. I have Chen. Chen. Oh, that's you? Is that what you'd like me to call you? Okay. Chen, nice to meet you. Glad you're here. Chen is here. I have Kenneth. There's Kenneth. I think I know you from before, do I not?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because I'm not here for last semester.
Ah, okay. So
Just also call me Kenneth.
I can call you what?
Kenneth.
Kenneth?
Up to you.
Yeah, I'll call whatever you want.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Kenny or Kenneth.
Ken-
It's
okay.
or-
Yeah, Kenny. Either one works for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is entirely your choice. Okay. All right. So Kenny's here. Harry, I know I think he's here somewhere. He's online though, so I'm gonna check him off. I know Kang, but he's not here. Quan, that would be you. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Is that what you'd like me to call you? Okay. Quan, nice to meet you. Glad you're here. Okay, so present. I have Tafadzwa. Tafadzwa. I don't know who that is. They don't appear to be here, but maybe tomorrow. I know Nasra, and she's not here, and I know Mike, and he is here. Okay. So, I think what I'll do is I will release you because again, I don't really want to dive too deeply in on the first day. We want to ease back in. Plus, sometimes there's students who, join the class a day later, so I don't want to get too far ahead. Any questions or things people would like to say before we break?
Thank you so much for having us. See you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Yeah, that's it. So you can pack it up, and I'll see you 10:05 tomorrow, okay? Oh.